Hello everyone, bonjour, bonsoir, welcome back. This will be a very exciting video. This is a very first retwist, her very first retwist, and I love the before, I love the after. Just you guys stay tuned for the during. So let's get into it. I'm excited. This is the client, my client from the lock extension comb out and start over video. You guys may recognize her, maybe not, because her hair looks very different right now. And this is a month after her starter locks. So this is me washing her hair with her baby locks in, and as you guys can see what the before was, that was actually after her washing her own hair at home. And I told her after starting her coils, feel free to wash your hair. It's not gonna look like locks after you wash it. It's really gonna look like a fro, but do not let that deter you from washing your hair. So this is actually her second wash, and she's someone who likes to wash often as well. And a lot of people with locks or who do locks do not recommend washing often. And often to me is subjective. If you're washing your hair every few days, every week, that may be too much, especially for the beginning stage of locking, because you're building your ground or your foundation for your locks at that point. However, in my opinion, washing every 2 weeks or every month is not bad. Waiting months to wash your hair, I feel like, is bad, because water and actually washing your hair actually helps your hair tangle and kink up and form the locks. Of course, you should not do it too often, because you'll be losing that essential shedded hair that you need to form these locks. And too often, like I said, is subjective, because it depends on how your hair functions and behaves. 2 weeks, every 2 weeks may be too often for some people, depending on your hair. And every month may not be often enough for other people. So it's really subjective, depends on you, your hair, and how your hair behaves, what it can handle. As you see here, it looks like her hair is not even in coils anymore. And this is what scares people when they do wash their locks for the first time. But I advocate for washing your hair. That's just what I do. I also recommend going to a professional if you don't really understand starter locks and locks in themselves. That way you're not freaked out in that first wash or that first maintenance. You're not like, what the heck? What are you about to retwist? So here, as you can see, now after I've washed, you can see some of her parts, but not, it still looks like a little fro. And I did go through and I separated her hair before washing. So that helped a lot, because I went and separated each section and I tried to find as many parts as I could before actually washing her hair. So that helped a lot. And you can even go through, and those that were really loose, that were really not even a coil anymore or a bud anymore, I wrapped the loose hair around them just to give it some type of integrity and keep it during the wash and after the wash. And I'm able to really find the parts. I'm still having to clean the parts up, of course, but it wasn't that hard to find the parts, because I went through and I separated that little fro you guys saw in the beginning. I should have shown that part, but I wasn't thinking about it. I was just really ready to dive into her hair and get her first retwist done. And I loved her reaction when it was done, because she didn't think that could come out of the fro that she came in with. But I was so ready. I was so ready to get into her hair, because I already knew what was going to happen. So pretty much this is the first row, and the locks on the first row, or the parting in the first row, is just a little bit bigger than the rest of them, because her hair is the finest back there. So it's not that much bigger, but just a little bit, to help those back there be a similar size to the ones that are in the middle of her head. She does have a lot of hair. She has a lot of strands, but her hair is still considered fine. She just has a lot of hair. So it can fool you into thinking that she has thick hair. So she'll have a good number of locks, and they will be full, but they won't be as thick they'll be like a very small to medium size. All right, so fast forward to halfway throughout her head, and I can show you guys a better angle of what I'm doing. I always use clips for the beginning retwists. When the hair is mature and it's long enough and the client is okay with it, I will do loop method retwist just for faster retwists for the client's sake, and then I do it because it's just more efficient. But sometimes I'll use the clips so they can see what their length really is. But first, second, third, maybe like that first week, not that first week, maybe that first 6 months to a year, I'm gonna use the clips because I feel like it reinforces the locks more than the loop method would, if that makes sense. And it really depends on how fast their hair is locking. If it's locking a little slower or it's not maturing as fast, then I will continue the clips up until 1 year. If it's maturing really quickly, we could ditch the clips whenever it's to the stage where the hair is dropping, it has weight to it, then we can ditch the clips. And I'm also not using any gel to retwist her hair because that is something she wants to continue. She wants to start with really clean locks, and she's not opposed to using gel, but just in the beginning we are abstaining from using any type of holding product or gel or whatever the case is, just to let her hair do its thing. And then later on, if she wants to use gel, we can. At the end of toward the end of the video, when I got around her edges, I did use a little bit of, what is it called, Super Grow gel. I think I show it somewhere in here, I don't remember, but it's the Super Grow gel. It's like supposed to be a natural gel that is it washes out, so that's a good alternative to harsher gels. And I don't know if I showed it. I'll probably insert a picture in here to show you guys, but I used just a little bit of that around her edges to help gather her edges, because she has a lot of immature hair in the front, and I wanted to gather that and put it into her locks. So I will explain as I show a little bit of what I'm doing. She has freehand parts, of course, so there's no straight lines, but I am pretty much gathering the base, and you see how much of her hair is not butted at all. So I'm gathering that base, and then this right here looks like a bunch of loose hair, but it really isn't. It does have a bud in there, and I'm gonna gather that base up. If I wanted to take the comb through there, I could not. That's how you know there's a bud there. And I'm gonna wrap the loose hairs around, and I'm gonna do this for the next 4 or 5 retwists, maybe up until a year, maybe even past that, depending on how her frizz turns out to be. So that's pretty much it. Short hair is really, really simple because you're not working with that much hair from the root. So all those loose hair, I'm just gonna wrap around, and try to guide them, and so they'll find their way. But most of the work is usually the hair of the client. The lock stylist or the hair care professional who does the hair, of course, we are there to help guide the hair, but most of the work really is your hair. If you're starting locks, expect your hair to do most of the work, and it would be great to educate yourself on what starter locks are, how they behave, and what you should or shouldn't do with them. And that will help you at home, because the lock stylist will not be with you the whole time. So it's good to know what's going on. When your hair looks a certain way, you're not freaked out. Like, I warned her when I started her hair, I warned her about that first wash. She said she may wash at home, she may not. I told her if she does wash at home, beware. It will no longer look like coils. It won't look like anything she actually wants in her head. But it is the beginning of something beautiful, and it is worth continuing the journey. So beyond that, there's not much else to really say. So just sit back and enjoy the rest of the retwist in a time lapse. And when we're done, I'll conclude how her first retwist went and any other details that I feel like you guys should know about this retwist. So Supergirl has entered the chat, and we're gonna put it on the edges just a little bit, not too much, because we don't want to get it stuck in the base of her starter locks. Just a little bit to clean up her edges, and that's all you need right there. Once again, I'll have the link for you to get Supergirl if you want to try it. It'll be in my description, or just go to my Amazon storefront, Dxlynlocs, and you'll find all the products that I've talked about, used. They are there, including the oils that I use. And you'll notice that the parts in the front of her head are a bit more rectangular than the rest of them, and they're a bit more longer, or they appear bigger, but the hair in the front of her head, as you can see, is more fine and the density is lower there. So that is why the parts are a bit bigger here, to make sure that everything is the same size for the most part. Nothing will ever be the exact same size, but close enough to the same size, and make sure that her edges will remain healthy throughout her journey. And I did this for the entire perimeter of her head. And this is the finished product. This maintenance took about 1.5 to 2 hours, and then we did some drying time as well, so that adds into the time. And as you all know, starter locks take a little bit more time, a little bit more detail, or they should, and the time that it takes for her maintenance to be done will get shorter and shorter as her locks mature, and then of course it'll plateau once her locks reach maturity. Once again, if you guys want to keep up with her journey, let me know in the comments, and I will keep the updates coming just to show you guys how her hair is doing. You guys already been there for the beginning, so if you want to stay tuned for more updates, let me know. I will make them. Let me know what you think about her first retwist, and if you're new, you just started your locks, how was your first wash, how was your first retwist? Let me know in the comments below. Let's discuss it and talk about it, and stay tuned for more videos, guys. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.